Welcome everyone to Enlightened World Network. I'm Deb Goldberg, and we are going to do the show Divine Relationship Recovery, which is on every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. So I hope that you keep joining in because it's a great series with spiritual messages that come through that we're being asked to talk about from a divine perspective. And I'm so happy that I have Michele Landers here today as my special guest host. Welcome, Michele.
Well, thank you, Deb. I am so pleased to be on here. Thank you so much. And I love EWN and I love everything that's being shared. So it's my honor. It's my honor. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. I want to tell you a little bit about Michele. She is a board certified life purpose coach, a hypnotherapist, and professional numerologist. She is a dynamic and gifted lecturer, teacher, author, and consultant on the subjects of personal empowerment, spiritual wisdom, the law of attraction, and numerology. Michele was a recurring coach on Fox WFLX, Eye on South Florida, with Shannon Cake, and can be seen regularly on NBC's WPTV Channel 5, 5 at 11, Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise segment. So Michele also has a show on Enlightened World Network. So I also want you to be able to share people because it just started, right? It's been 1 week.
The baby, it's brand new. It's just a little baby.
Right. So I want you to help people understand what your show's about, when it's on, and what are the topics that you talk about.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Deb. Yes, it's on Thursdays on EWN Enlightened Living, and it's from 6 to 7. And the name of it is Heart and Soul. And it's a way to take your life to how to live an extraordinary life. And what I mean by that is we all have the ability to live an extraordinary life. And as we were talking about previously, which I love, is that we are all already perfect spirits. We really are. And the only issue that we have is not recognizing that. And so on the show, what I hope to do is allow people or give them the permission or honor them in their peeling away the layers to see the truth of who they really are and their magnificence and how they can see themselves through a new lens, a more loving, heartfelt, soulful lens. And I do that by, either having guests on like you, which I hope you'll be on my show soon. And this week it's going to be Niobe Weaver is going to be on, and she's going to share about love and fear as well. And there are if people want to join in, I love to send them even little exercises to help them again peel away the layers, because I think that we were all born again with these perfect little spirits. But not only that, I do believe in the deepest part of my soul that we all have a unique gift to share with the world. And it's a gift because it's meant to be shared. And I believe that we all have a talent. And as I love to say over and over again, if your talent is making ice cream, then be the best damn ice cream maker and share that, because people will love that. And you'll share your talent, your gift. And that's what we need, I believe. That's what we need more of, is sharing our true, authentic, loving essence and energy. So that's what Heart and Soul is about. And I hope people tune in Thursday, 6 to 7, tomorrow night, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that it's so important to have shows like that and allowing yourself to be the best at who you were meant to be, which kind of really leads into our topic tonight. It really does. It fits right in so beautifully.
Yay.
So, if you're new to this show, I typically get a topic given to me from God and get asked to talk about it. And then I get talking points from God about what we need to, what we should be talking about. Who today would be with Michele. And so we have discussions over these talking points. And also for those of you that so you know, when I talk about God, that I refer to divine love as God, that it's not religious, although I have also spent most of my time with God feeling like it's male energy. So a lot of times I refer to God as him, even though I know it is no gender. But I just like to clarify that for people so they understand more about this show, of understanding your relationship with yourself, your relationship with others, and your relationship with God, which is all basically the same thing. So tonight's show is called Love, what it means to love yourself. So God says it means giving yourself the freedom to be yourself. You have spent so much time, dear one, shaping yourself into what you think someone else needs you to be, or rebelling against what others expect you to be. And in the process, you forgot who you are. So I thought, well, that's pretty loaded talking point to start us off.
Mm.
Forgetting who we are.
Mm.
We have forgotten who we are. And when I read this, I can relate to it so much because I did spend all my life trying to please other people, which started at home, and took on who I thought they needed me to be to make them happy. And then of course I also went through rebelling myself of against my parents, of them wanting me to be a certain way, and then and going the opposite way on purpose just because I didn't like being controlled. And in the process, and this is not just me, this is most people, and we all forgot who we were. We forgot that we're a spiritual being having a human experience.
Yes.
And so you spend so much time in these roles of trying to please others or rebelling, that we and forgetting, so that we can't even find ourselves anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree. So can I add something to that?
Sure.
I identify with that because I think the world and the beliefs that we have, the world kind of is set up like that, that we're always living outside of ourselves. And there's always a comparison. Yeah, and there's always a certain standard that we have to live up to. And it's always outside of us. It's never just what our internal compass is telling us to do. And I started off life absolutely being rebellious, but also being a caretaker. And because I so wanted to be loved, that I would do, I would conduct my life in such a way that as long as you were happy, then if you were happy and you liked what I was doing, that meant that you loved me.
Mm-hmm.
So there was so little time that I spent on understanding who I really was. And then that's a whole process, because when you open that door, and sometimes I call it a trap door, when you open that door, and when I fell down the rabbit hole, I had no idea. And it's a good thing, because I probably would have never opened the door. It would be too frightening. I had to go through a period of looking at who I am and then saying, oh my God, I don't like those things about me. And then moving past that and just looking at myself, as you said, or as I said before, one of us had said that we're born we have these perfect spirits within us. And understanding that not from an ego place at all, but from a spiritual, God loving place, that we're fine just the way we are. And if I find myself ever either getting upset or defending, then I know that I'm not in that place of God love. I know I'm not in my center. Those are two big giveaways. If I have to defend, or I feel aggressive, or if I think I have to try to convince you, which I pretty much think I've lost that a long time ago, having to convince you to believe what I believe, because whatever you believe is what you believe. It's fine. So it's been a wild ride for me, but I do really love spiritually where I'm at, and I can appreciate others so much more. And I can see the perfect spirit in them, and not be thrown off base by something that they do or say. It's a little bit tough with my granddaughter, I have to say that. I'm still working on stuff with her because well, that's a whole story, but we joke about it because we did that I don't know if we've ever done True Colors, but True Colors is a way to define a little bit. I wouldn't say it defines, but it illustrates what your love language is. And my love language is physical touch. And my granddaughter's is not physical touch, it's words of affirmation. That's top. So you can see where there'd be a little bit of a struggle there. Although I'm always giving her words of affirmation because I think she's absolutely incredible. But she's not a big one for hugging, and stuff like that. So,
and I didn't know it was called True Colors. It's the 5 love languages, are written by Gary Chapman, and it's a great book to understand how you feel loved more than in other ways. And it is a great way to look at relationships that way too. It helps you understand some more.
Yes.
But I think that, this time, in this time and place in the world, we are being asked to give ourselves the freedom to be ourselves now. We are being called upon to stand in our divine authority, to allow yourself to finally be who you are, and stop micromanaging yourself or telling yourself you're not good enough. And what's so amazing, so the next part of this, God says, so who are you? And he says, I know who you are because I created you. You are infinite love and light. You are joyful and happy. You are expansive and eternal. You are the creator, one with me. You are strong, powerful, and gentle. You are a blessing and a miracle. You are the stars in the heavens, the sun and the moon, the trees in the forest, the water covering great lands. You are the fruit of the trees and the dew on the morning grass, and the clouds that you watch slowly drift by. You have forgotten that you are one with all life. How can you know this but for spending time with me to remind you?
That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful, Deb.
Well, thank you. Everything that comes through is beautiful. Everything that comes through is so amazing. and when he says, how do you know this? But by spending time with me, so I can tell you who you are, I can teach you. So expanding yourself to look at, so I'm just going to be me, I'm going to allow myself to be me, Deb. But Deb, or all of us, you're everything. You're everything with life. You are all energy and motion. You are no different than anything you see outside of yourself as consciousness. And so to get this really expansive idea of who you are, not just I'm going to be myself and not beat myself up anymore. I'm just going to allow myself to be who I am. But who are you?
Right.
What a great question.
What a profound question, and not easily answered. And I know that my peace and understanding more of who I am when I'm in meditation or in communion, all that is, that it just brings me right here to knowing who I am. I am love. You are love. We really, truly are all love. And that's what I think it's all about. But going through the process of finally believing that is an interesting journey. And one of the things I just wanted to go back to, one of the things you said about before, you said, but who am I? You said allowing yourself to be who you are. And that can get confusing for some people, because I've heard some people say, yeah, I am who I am, like Popeye, I am who I am. But there's that part of them that is that false self that can be aggressive. It's not really who they are, but they can be aggressive. It's just who I am. Take it or leave it. And who you really are doesn't have any of that kind of energy about it. The energy of who you really are is peace and love and welcoming and honoring of who you are, and honoring everyone else on this journey. This made me think of that when you said that.
Yeah. A lot of people might think, well, this is just who I am. And everybody has a personality. So they think that, that's all they are, is their personality. And we're talking about really going to the depths of understanding who you are, like you do in meditation, and you start to feel, oh my goodness, there's so much more. There's so much more. And I call it being in holy communion with God, is being a mutual relationship of love and adoration between the two. And and feeling into the oneness of what you really truly are. And so unless we have some kind of relationship, a divine relationship with whoever you believe is your creator, it is really difficult to know this. So we can take in information from all kinds of places and intellectually understand something, but integrating it and experiencing it are a whole nother thing. And then the journey is, okay, so I have those moments during my meditation, and I'm told who I am, or I'm shown who I am, or I feel the depths of, and we're probably not even feeling the depths of who we are, because I don't believe that's possible in this human, within the illusion. But how do you hold on to that after your meditation? When you start walking back into the world and interacting, is remembering the foundation of your being.
Somewhere along the line, I'm not sure, I guess I never took a quiz. I've never quizzed anybody about this, but somewhere along the line, my thoughts of my spiritual life and who I am as a spiritual being became my life. It's not like I go into meditation and then I go out of meditation, and not that I am not affected by the world. I don't want it to sound like that. Of course I am, but 24/7, I'm conscious that I'm a spiritual being. So that's always there for me. And I can monitor myself. I mean, not like a school monitor, like, wait a minute, but I can feel it. If I can feel it instantly when I'm out of alignment, because my life is 24/7. It is a spiritual experience for me. And so I guess that was my point to answer your question. How does anybody do it out of meditation? Because meditation is beautiful to have that one-on-one, that holy communion, and that heighten the connection. You're always connected,
Mhm.
but I think that heightens, for me, it heightens the connection. And then when I'm out of meditation, I'm still in that, that connection. It
Mhm.
just takes on a little bit of a different shape, because I'm in the illusion of a physical experience.
Sure. Yeah, and that's a journey in itself, is learning how to maintain that, what you've learned, and staying in your knowingness, being able to see things in yourself as they pop up during the day, and that for me, that was about making my spiritual practice an all day practice too.
Right.
And I know when I first started out, just being able to stay present for a minute in a day was a big deal, that it wasn't easy. It was, you forget, you get to a certain place in your journey and you forget how frustrating it was at the beginning of just trying to stay present, and not even do anything else. It's just, how do I just stay here and now, and not live in the past or the future, and stay present to everything that you're doing. And it's just a process. And I don't know, I don't know I don't know that you 100% ever get to a place like that in your lifetime, because you're always being pulled back and forth into the illusion. But making it a spiritual practice of, like, okay, I'm going to start out by being present,
Mhm.
and then I'm going to meditate, and I'm going to do these other things that keep filling me up with more of me, is a great way to do that. And the other thing that I wanted to say is, we're talking about um, being yourself, and understanding really what you're what does it mean to be divine, and that you are already that. So when we're talking about also being yourself, it is that you are divine perfection at this moment, with everything that is included with that, that you think shouldn't be included with that.
Right.
All
Right.
the things that you experience on earth, you believe that it shouldn't be part of your experience, that you should be having only this experience, or I should look this way, or feel this way, or not feel that way, when none of that is true. So you also get an expanded understanding of that, you are that divine being right now, with everything, all these aspects of yourself,
Right.
that you are divine perfection as that. You're not trying to achieve that, you already are that. And I've said before, we have just as much of a hard time of believing our own perfection as we do of letting go of ego thoughts.
Correct.
And letting go of the illusion. Letting go of the illusion over and over again is a constant practice, right? And it's hard because you're always bumping up against that contrast. It's just as
Absolutely.
difficult to embrace your divine perfection. It's easier to think of yourself through an ego lens than divine perfection lens. It's really very interesting.
It is very interesting because when I think, and again, for me, if I think of myself as this, well, when I feel it when I'm in really, again, in the meditation and that communion, but it is challenging to go around thinking, yeah, I'm this divine being. Somehow your ego wants to step in there and go, yeah, I'm all that. And it's like, okay, wait a minute. And I feel I'm in my divine perfection when first of all, I love to cook. So when I'm doing things that I do with great love, is also another part of me. I love to cook. I love to serve people. So whether I'm making a meal or I'm making cupcakes and decorating them and that's part of me, and I feel part of my divine self because I'm feeling love when I'm doing it, and I'm hoping that I'm conveying that love to you and honoring who you are as well. But yeah, I get it. It's challenging. The physical illusion of this physical life is really a challenge at times.
Yeah, it certainly is. And the next part of this, God says, you have been given gifts and purpose for this world. Do you know what they are?
Wow.
Come closer to me so I can bring you to the passion that lingers in your heart, waiting to unfold. Let me teach you how to be the only you, all of you, the whole wonderful you that is covered up by misunderstanding of who you are.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. It's just love that just flows through. Love, love, love. It's like a love song coming through your heart constantly when you are listening to what's coming within.
Right.
And one of the things that I talk about, which is really important to me, and it is my purpose, is teaching people that there is a direct line to God because there's only oneness, there's no separation, whatever you call God,
Right.
whatever that is. And that it's almost like you are the creator. He's saying you are the creator, you're one with me. And so you've also been part of this authorship of this life that you're leading, right? And you need to come back home to me so I can teach you and show you the gifts and the talents that were given to you for your purpose in this lifetime, that you may not even know that they're there, and there's a lot of them.
Yes, I agree. And I think that when we're in our passion, when we're doing our passion, when we're embracing that, how could we be anything but happy and in love? And I also always say that what a better world, what a brighter world, what a more loving world this would be if everybody was doing what they love to do, because happy people don't do bad things. It's pretty simple, right? Happy people who are happy with what they're doing and honoring who they are and doing their passion, there's no space in there to be mean because they're at peace. And that might seem Pollyanna-ish, but I don't think it is at all. Because the people that I know who are really doing what they love to do, they're happy.
Mhm.
They're happy people. And I think I'm not sure which philosopher it was, but I was reading a whole book once on all the philosophers and what their beliefs were. And one philosopher, I don't know if it was Socrates or whoever, said, if we could just take all the children away from their parents for about 18 years and just allow them to flourish and bloom and not put anything on them except allow them to express themselves, everybody would fall into whatever it is that the farmers, the people who love to work with the earth, the people who love to build, even the politicians in the good sense of the word, of the brotherhood, which I think that's what that originally was meant to be. The leaders, everybody would just fall naturally into where their heart was calling, the artists. And I think that's a pretty good idea. Of course, it's not something we could do without being arrested, but it's a good idea.
Yeah. Well, we also know that we came here to have this experience, and it's supposed to be fun. And it's supposed to be fun in the sense of you have this beginning story, you forget who you are, and then you wake up and you start to realize, oh my goodness, what happened? Like I forgot. And I know that there's more to life than what I just see in front of me. And so everybody's on their own path.
Yes.
And I pray too. I pray for everybody um to understand the Holy Communion that's inside of themselves of love, and to work from there. But this world is divinely orchestrated, and we're seeing all of these things for a reason. And so I think it's about really starting to being able to stand in your own belief system of who you are, and free yourself to be yourself, knowing that you're good.
Right.
Which for me, I had to work through all of that. I call that a Pandora's box that got opened up. And yes, and it was abrupt, but it was the best thing that I ever did, because then you start dismantling this faulty self, which is the whole journey. And when you have a divine relationship with love, the faulty self keeps getting stripped away.
Yeah.
Over time, that's what we keep doing, is stripping away the faulty self. But we're also here to enjoy and create. And we're a character in a play, in a theater. God's told me this is my stage. And I've had John the Baptist ask me, don't you like being Debbie? Don't you like being Debbie? And I said, I don't think so. I went through a period of like, I don't know. I don't think I like, just take me home. I don't want to play anymore. And so I had to go through a process of really taking in the understanding of what a gift this is. This life is a miracle, that I'm a miracle, that you're a miracle, that why wouldn't I like the character that I've been chosen for, right? And it's sort of like an actor getting into character and really saying, yes, I'm saying yes to this character. I'm saying yes because there's also all this unbelievable treasures inside of yourself that's part of this experience.
Right.
So it's this misunderstanding of who we are constantly is being stripped away so we can see some more. I call it like God's pulling up the veil. Like, here you go. I'm going to give you a divine point of view. I'm going to pull
Right.
up the veil and you're going to go, whoa, what did I just see or understand? And then the veil comes down again. And there's
Yeah.
this process of it going up and down the whole time and seeing if you can maintain your learning how to really master your internal dynamic and believing more in
Yeah.
who you really are and not who you
Right.
thought you were.
Right. And what better way to figure out who we are by coming up against the relationships in our life, right?
Mhm.
That show us that's what they're there for. It's so divinely, as you said, orchestrated that we're in this world with all these other people
Mhm.
who are more than willing to serve as our mirrors as we do for them. And we're a mirror for them. We're all mirroring one another
Mhm.
all the time. And what else you were talking about, I love what you were talking about, that because I think on the journey that we all go through that dark night of the soul,
Mhm.
where when you're searching and seeking for yourself, which is what it really is, um, in that part of that dismantling, I think most of us, if not all of us, go through that dark night of the soul. And that can be pretty frightening and pretty scary.
Mhm.
However, every time, and I don't think it's just one time that we go through it. Certainly for me, I've gone through a few dark nights. Every time, I go here and go, oh, this is great. Whoa,
Mhm.
what was that? And it's usually when I see something else about myself that I it's like took me by surprise. And the false self, though, it's really that's part of who I think I am. I guess that is, Michelle, that's part of who you think you are, but that's not who you are. But that belief has led to a lot of different choices and decisions in your life. In the end, it's all good, but during the time that it's happening, it's not always so good, or it doesn't feel so good.
Mhm.
But that's why we have the relationships, right?
Yes, we have the relationships. And then as we keep moving ahead in the journey, we realize that there's only one. And so there's only one.
There's only one
It's
relationship.
there's only one relationship. And you are looking at a reflection of what you believe is inside of you. And there's a mixture because we see the divine side and we see an ego consciousness side. So there is only one. There is no separation. It's like you are here by yourself and you're seeing all these different reflections of you. And it is about learning how to really expand your heart and being able to expand your ability to understand your ability to love, that there is so much more room in your heart for love, for forgiveness, for all of these things, for I guess I can call it like drinking the Kool-Aid. We all drank the Kool-Aid. And we all believe that, all of this other stuff is just that we believe about ourselves is nothing. It is absolutely nothing. But we drank the Kool-Aid and we're playing the game, and it's supposed to be fun. So getting to a point of feeling that there is so much love for you, you are love, and that being able to support you in letting go and being who you are and laughing at all of these things that we see about ourselves that we think is somebody else, and it's
Right.
not. It's Jesus told me this is your creative illusion, but you didn't do it by yourself because it is all spiritually orchestrated. and it's a co-creation.
It's a
It's a
co-creation, right?
co-creation. So and none of us, there's all these myths of how we think this happens, but the truth is we don't really know how this happens. We can't even wrap our head around how this unfolds and this illusion happens.
Right.
So it's a dream, and being okay with your dream, being okay with, you want to call it um, an incarnation, whatever you feel like you need to call what you're experiencing, is being okay with it. So the next part of this, he says, loving yourself is setting yourself free to be you. You are already divine perfection. Love who you are, for when you feel not good enough, you are judging me, meaning God, as not good enough. And we know there is no truth to that. Believe in yourself and allow yourself to be the one and only you. It's like, for me, I had to trust God enough and what I've been taught to keep letting go more and more and more. That I have something to, a foundation within this divine love relationship, to trust enough to let go, that I don't have to worry about anything, that everything is provided for you, because that's what consciousness is, and we call it the law of attraction. But even today, I had to go to a doctor's appointment, and it looked like it was going to rain, and I thought, oh, maybe it won't rain, and I heard, no, you need to take your umbrella. And I was like, so I have a choice to listen. And I listened and I took the umbrella. And when I came out, it was raining. So you are constantly being guided and navigated. And because you are not doing this alone, you cannot do this alone. And you've already lived this life. It was a flash and it's over. And it's almost like you are, I called it a rerun. It's almost like you're having a rerun. And it's Earth, it's like Major Tom to ground control. There's God or the angels or whoever you talk to saying, okay, this is what we're going to do next. And this is what's going to happen. But you've already done it. You've already lived it. It's already happened. And when you can let go and recognize and trust that God is good,
right,
then you can let go of all these anxieties. And it's just part of the journey, that I know where I'm always supposed to be, even though I'm hearing all the time, maybe you shouldn't be there, maybe you're not in the right place. You're constantly getting bombarded with things to shake you out of believing in yourself.
right.
And this is what he's saying: believe in yourself and be the one and only you, because we know that each one of us are completely unique, which is really a very interesting dichotomy of understanding that we're one,
we're one, but
we're all unique.
I picture it like I picture it just like the sun, and the sun is always throwing off gases, right? So we're those little sparks, those little gases, but we're part of the sun. We're part of the whole. So we all are really one, and yet there's little pieces that are thrown off of it, so to speak, but it's still all one. And as you said, it's like a really interesting dichotomy that we co-created, and it's amazing to me. There have been so many things that have happened to me. I so believe in the law of attraction. I think there's a wild card present, but that's a whole nother story, because we can't know everything. And I'm so glad that you said that, because we can't and we don't, and that's just fine. But when I listen to my intuition, or these little things come to me and I pay attention to it, it's just friggin' amazing. amazing how it shows up.
Mhm.
And I have this thing about houses, and I don't know why, from way back. And my first house, I had no idea that I was going to get this house. And I was just, because I love houses, I love home, I love all that stuff. And I was living in an apartment at the time where, we were living in an apartment, and I was just flipping through magazines, and I, out of a magazine that was really, really thick, and I cut out this one. I didn't cut out the picture of the house. I cut out the diagram, the blueprint of it. And it was on the refrigerator with all the kids' pictures and all that stuff. And then years later, when my husband and I went to buy a house, it was like a movie. Um, we were taking everything off the refrigerator, and this one little piece of paper floated. And my husband picked it up and he said, "What's this?" And I said, "Oh my God, that's from like 3 years ago, whatever." And he looked at it and he said, "That's the blueprint of our house." And I went, "What?" And he said, "Yeah, look at it." That was amazing. And there's other houses that I've put on. The funniest one for me was I put a picture of a house on my vision board. And a year and a half later, my daughter, she didn't see my vision board. She bought that house. So sometimes I'm envisioning for other people houses.
Mhm.
It's fine.
Right. Well, it seems well, that's where the law of attraction is, but I also look at it as it's already been done. It's already planned. And
Yeah.
but we don't know that. We
Right.
don't know that those thoughts or visions are planted as part of our story into our heart, that we're passionate about something or we desire something, and then it's, we think we're putting it into motion. And I constantly am told, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. I am bringing this to you.
Right.
And it's
It's
really,
already there.
yeah, it's already there. It's all part of the plan, but we look at it as serendipity or something like that, or law of attraction. But what's really happening is it's already happened, and it's part of your story, part of your plan, but you don't remember it. You don't remember what the plan is. That's part of the fun of forgetting and going, oh, what's this? Um, so so it is so beautiful. I constantly am just like, I'll be working on something, and I'm told, you can stop now because you're not really making anything
Nothing
happen here.
happened anyway.
You don't have to be like, you know, going crazy and nuts of worrying about doing something, even if it's your passion. It's sort of like, no, I am bringing this to you on a silver platter. If you allow it to be that way, rather than thinking that you're making this happen, you're not making it happen. Um, it's already that, and that's hard to believe with people, that your life's already planned. It's already
That's a
happened.
that's a question I know that I had for a long time, was, but I do believe that and another, I don't know if it's different or not, but I believe that everything is all happening at the same time as well.
Mhm.
But when people would get, psychic impressions, of something that was going to happen, my question was always, um, you're picking up, something that's going to happen because it's already all planned that this is going to be the way it is. And that's not really the example I wanted to use. So forgive me, but
It's okay.
it's like, am I making it happen, or is it already happened and planned already? And I'm just seeing it. It's
Yes.
just like, so I have to dial in, instead of, like you said, stressing about it. And because that anxiety and that anxiousness will block that, that communication, that
Mhm.
pipeline, that anxiety clog. I always like to say is anxiety clogs it's like plaque in an artery. It clogs up that pipeline to the divine.
It does. It does. So, being able, and if you really look at it, if you say, okay, I'm going to let go of whatever I'm holding on to or worrying about, I'm going to let go, and I'm going to, talk to God about this. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to completely let go. And all of a sudden, whatever it was is released, right? It's,
Right.
it's shifted in some way. It is. And so, and that's all learning energetic stuff, how to balance your energy, and how resistance works and all of that. So there's so many different things going on to play with in this illusion,
Right.
that are pretty remarkable. But sticking to, allowing yourself to be your full self. So if in the illusion you're like, okay, there's ego consciousness and there's divine. Well, we know that there's only one. There's only one mind of God. But if you're just be your whole self, whatever that is, your whole beautiful self, and stop questioning you. Because what I have learned is, if I do something or say something and I think, well, maybe I shouldn't have said that, or I shouldn't have done that, I hear a correction right afterwards, like, okay, so I just learned something that I prefer not to do that next time. And so if you don't allow yourself to be yourself, you can't have these corrections of what you feel good about and what you don't feel good about, and it's like you're always making these choices. And so being your full self, you allow yourself to see also the beauty of yourself,
Right.
instead of hiding that.
Instead of hiding it. Exactly. Right.
So this part came to me after, and it's kind of like, you really have to think about this, because it's kind of kooky to me to understand it all. So you are the creator. You are one with the creator. You are the creator. You are the creation of the creator.
Yeah, it's kind of,
Mm-hmm.
but that's like the Trinity in any religion.
Yes. You are the experience and expression of creation.
Yes, I love that.
And you are the creator, navigating and witnessing the experience of its own creation as a dream.
Profound.
So you have to really, when you have to really sit and take that apart, because it is profound, and there's so much more of, if you are all of these things, you don't really understand the magnitude of what you are, of who you are. You don't understand the magnitude of power that you have, and it is all love.
Right.
Nothing else. It's all pure love. It's innocence. It's purity. It's holy. And that's what we created. That's what we are.
Right.
And that never changes. That never, ever changes, no matter what you do in this life, no matter what you think in this life. Nothing ever changes your divinity and your wholeness.
It can't, because that, to me, is absolute.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think of anything else as absolute except that. And the things that you were talking about, which are so profound and so beautiful, I think because we are brought up to put things in boxes, and to think of things, they have a beginning and they have an end. We don't know of anything else other than that. We are brought up to see things as separate. So a lot of these beautiful concepts, they're challenging for us to wrap our head around because we don't have any reference point. It's being, shown something that we've never ever seen or perhaps even thought about before. We have no comparison. So it's like, what? But if we allow ourselves to just, have that Holy Communion and just be in that, be present and open up to, I want to understand,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
then we will.
Yeah. And even if you don't understand, because there's plenty of things I was taught by Jesus that
Right.
I didn't understand at the time. And it's sort of like I had to grow into taking it in. And you
Yeah.
you take it in. And it was so funny. I had a meditation with him one time, and he's so amazing. And we were sitting at a table, and there was apple pie sitting on the table. And he said, "Serve me a slice of pie." And I said, "Okay." So I serve him a slice of pie. And he starts to take a fork full of the pie. And he said, and then he talked to me about, and when I'm talking to people and teaching, that most people, like myself, needed to have a fork full of pie at a time so it could be really tasted and taken in and really taste the apple pie and understand it and let that piece of pie want them to have another little piece of apple pie. So it's like trying to serve a little bit at a time, which we're talking about a lot of different concepts here into different levels of understanding of higher consciousness.
Yeah.
But it is so it is, based on where anybody is, because we have a lot of people watching, and they're going to be at different levels in the same way where I was when Jesus was teaching me all of these concepts. And when you're taught them from inside, it takes on a whole different understanding with you, because you're building a relationship at the same time.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that you don't learn things from outside. We all learn things from outside. But to go in and understand that all the knowledge that you need is within you, that you are the guru, that it lives within you as you, and you have your own curriculum for this journey, and yours is not going to look like anybody else's. And so you need to be taught from inside what it is that you need to learn about your particular journey here. And what I've been taught is, we have a individual story, and then there's an earth story. And the earth story is really important, but what Jesus told me is it is not more important than your own individual journey. Your individual journey overrides everything else.
Yes.
You came here for a reason.
Agreed.
So, but anyway, we've had lots of great, and Gabby has made lots of beautiful comments here. And she said, I turn my shower into a water ceremony every time, and it helps her with gratitude.
Wow, I love that.
It is beautiful, and I find being appreciating in the moment is great too. And my relationships are a big part of what has brought me here and teaching me who I am. Most of it not pleasant. I'm with your girlfriend.
Yep, I got it.
Yes. And I've done a show on that, and I'll probably be doing more teaching about relationships, because you're really having a relationship with yourself. And I've talked about, you're really getting, sometimes you just want to separate from this person, like if a marriage or whatever, and you're really divorcing your other shadow side
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you don't recognize. It's really learning how to balance those two things that are going on inside of us, all that we think are going on inside, the divine and the ego consciousness, and bringing harmony inside. And the more
yes.
that you do that, the more everything shifts on the outside. But that is a huge practice. And so Carol says it's frustrating that to not have learned these things sooner in life. And Carol, I said the same thing too. I was like, Jesus, why'd you wake me up at 56? Why didn't you wake me up earlier? I would have been a different parent or whatever, but everything's in divine order.
Oh,
This
right.
story, your story is unfolding exactly the way that it's supposed to. And I look at things now, I'm like, okay, I'm 62, and I'm thinking, my whole life is in front of me, and I'm so darn excited about what's to come in the future, and that age doesn't matter, and that if my kids grew up with me a certain way, that's what was meant to be. It's part of their story. So we
Exactly.
we can't turn the clock back, and we need to accept things as they are, that they're in divine perfection. um, Gabby says, I think that also, but for me, I had to learn lessons, experience things first so that I could see. And yeah, I'm the same way too. I'm like, I jump in and I'm like, okay, I'm not one of those people that say, I'm going to stay on the safe road. And I'm just going to,
I'm
you
gonna dive in.
I'm going to dive in, and I'm going to be rebellious, and I'm going to do all of these things, and so it makes it feel sometimes that learning's harder. But I think that it's we're all doing it in our own way, and there's not one right way. It's
There
your
isn't.
way.
There isn't. Everybody's way is the right way. And I love also what you said that um we're all our own best guru. We are really our own best guru. That you don't, it's great to listen to things. I mean, things I've heard things that have, they say shaken me to awaken me, but I don't uh put anybody on a pedestal. And I just don't think that's what we're supposed to do. And I know that there's, you know, I just think that we are our own best guru. So that's where if that information helps you turn more into yourself,
Mhm.
great.
Mhm.
That's great. But not to follow someone as if they are the be all and end all and everything that they say, because believe me, I'm sure there are plenty of times where, there have been plenty of people that I loved listening to them and in hearing what they have to say. But when you start wrapping your life around what they say and what they think that you should do, that will to me lead to a problem and a breakdown as well. It can lead to a breakdown because you're trying to be like them as opposed to being your wonderful, magnificent self.
Said beautifully, because each person has their own truth.
Yeah.
So somebody else's truth is not your truth.
Nope.
And you don't put anybody on a pedestal. If you, that is just not appropriate. The first time I met God, I was on my knees, and he said, get off of your knees. I did not make you to be on your knees. We are one. We are one. There's nobody that out there that knows more than you do. And this is so empowering. So I'm just gonna leave with the thought of, go inside and learn the magnificence that lives as you, in you,
Yes.
because it's amazing. It's bliss. It's everything you've been looking for.
Can I add one little thing and then?
Of course.
Okay. Are you familiar with the deathless guru Babaji by any chance? Okay, all right. Babaji is called the Deathless Master because my understanding is from things I've read and one person who comes from New Jersey who had an experience with Babaji in India in the 80s. Supposedly he comes back over and over again. Well, he doesn't even, he just materializes, dematerializes, and then shows up. And she was a psychotherapist from New Jersey, and she kept going to India, Hadakan, someplace, whatever. So there were so many incredible experiences that she described, but the one that stuck in my mind was exactly what to reference what you said about God said, don't, you don't have to kneel. They were in this room and they were all kind of chanting. And by this point, they could all communicate pretty much telepathically. And Babaji was kind of looking at her, telling her, bless me, bless me. And she was like, bless you? How could I bless you? And he said, bless me, bless me. And so she opened up her heart and sent him blessing. And it was like she, in a great way, a beautiful way, kind of exploded with love. And it makes me want to cry when I think of that particular experience that she had, because he was demonstrating we're all one, we're all love.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. We are all one. We are all love. And it is beautiful. Thank you for sharing that example and what your heart is capable of.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. No, you're welcome. This has been an awesome show, Michele. I really enjoyed being here with you. And I love all the comments and everybody that's watching. And I'm really hoping that it lightens your hearts to know that you are loved so very much, and that you can go within and hear these messages yourself and be taught and led, and allow it to know that you're not doing anything by yourself. Right. At all.
Mm.
So, we have tonight at 9:00, Terry Angel and Karen Palmer is going to be on, and they are doing chanting. They're doing their 40 days of chanting. So if you're interested in that, tune in for that. And then at 10:00 is a replay of our meditation today, which was with Terry earlier, which is an absolutely beautiful meditation. And it would be lovely to go to sleep to. So you can check that out. And we will be back here next Wednesday at 5 p.m. And I will see you. And as we are doing shows all the time, and Michele will be on tomorrow, right, at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
Oh,
right.
That's right. I forgot I'm on too at 7 o'clock with Anaya Joy on Angel Heart Radio. So lots of fun shows on Enlightened World Network and Enlightened Living. So we say goodbye for now, knowing we are one love, protected and held in divine order by our Creator. Go out this day in this awareness and allow God's peace and joy to occupy every single thought. Lead with your heart and welcome everyone home, for all are loved. God bless you.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Debbie.
You are so welcome. It's my joy having you here. And God bless everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.